Look, if you don't want to make that change within yourself, it's not going to get better. This might not apply to everybody, but if you feel like you're rock bottom, okay, and you're hoping for a better day, but you literally are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. You are provided with a choice every day. You are provided with multiple choices throughout the entire day. Take that choice, make that change. You've identified a problem. You're saying you're rock bottom. Got it. You're there now. There's only one way, and it's up. So change your mindset. Use that choice and go a freaking different direction. Love y'all. Faceman VTT out.
Day 3 of retirement. As an infantryman, I was asked if I could clean the sink. So let's look at this. Definitely some kind of grime on there. And I open up the cabinet. What do I use? Nothing comes to mind. Like my experiences, my skill set. Nothing. Wait a minute. Everyone knows this is how you clean everything. Infantry, retired.
You can just take it.
Would you like a military discount?
Do you offer one?
Honest cap of the day.
Thank you.
CC's Pizza is the county fair of restaurants. You go in there, you look around, you feel a little bit better about yourself, then you realize that you're in there too. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, let's be honest. You know, not everybody's made for this life. It's scary. You know, you gotta jump out of a plane while it's moving. That's not natural. It's high, it's fucking wet outside sometimes, it's snowy, it's hot, it's dry, it's shitty. Who the fuck would want to be airborne? Best job I ever had.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
Happy Saturday, everybody. What's up? Welcome to episode 119 of the Trash Talk Hour. Special guest today is Dara with MilCruit. And today I'm joined by Buddy and Nick's. Where's Nick?
Where's Nick? Nick's playing with Nick.
Oh, yeah, he's too good for us. Huh?
Yeah.
He ditched us.
Doing
hey, Nick.
things.
Yeah.
We don't have a picture of Nick we can put up or like a little stuffed animal or something?
No, we don't want that. We don't want to ruin the show. But yeah.
People would start logging off.
They would. Yeah. We'll see you tonight, Nick, in case you're watching. But thanks for,
Nick's picture would be belligerent at this point. He's probably had so much to drink.
He'd be cross-eyed. We could have sang happy birthday to him. We could have had cake.
It is his birthday today.
Is today his birthday or is this just his birthday weekend?
Maybe it's his birthday weekend.
I don't know.
feel like I should know, right?
You know what? I don't feel like
You don't really have to know if you're celebrating.
like
That's true.
guys
You're there.
never know other people's birthday. They're like, oh, my birthday is coming up. And I'm like, well, okay, then here's a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never like anything special. We never have
birthday cakes.
I feel like you're right because like with girls, it's different. Like I asked my daughter, and she's 12. Like she knows all of her friends' birthdays.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They know.
Yeah.
It's
And, like,
important.
when they'll celebrate their
Oh, so
birthday.
you don't even have to show up tonight.
Like,
No,
it's
we
my
don't.
Like,
birthday.
hey, bro, you found out it's not even your birthday.
Yeah. But anyhow, I usually we do a conspiracy, but I had a conversation with Buddy about this yesterday. I know for everybody that's watching, if you guys have been following the whole TikTok debacle that's going on, they had the guy, I forgot his name, but he had to testify in front of Congress and everything. And there are some pretty funny videos floating around. And I personally think he handled himself pretty well. Buddy's got a different take on the whole thing and big Chinese conspiracy, but
It's not a conspiracy.
I think he handled himself well, and I think they gave him a lot of heat, and like they didn't treat Zuckerberg that way. And I feel like all the other social media platforms do the exact same thing with like stealing your data and everything. But I wouldn't suggest that it's China like working the algorithms and everything to like dumb us down. Or I know you got a whole take on this, but I don't think it's that serious, honestly. And Buddy thinks it's like this huge China thing and Illuminati and all kinds of stuff. So,
I never said any of the.
well, you said that when you were drunk last night.
I did not. No. We were too busy last night dealing with weird furry dudes that were coming up and rubbing their bellies and freaking chest hair all over you. So I don't know how you could have.
That's how you celebrate.
But yeah, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think they should ban it. Like we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have all other kinds of social media platforms, and I don't understand why they're attacking them specifically. Because Facebook started with their reels then after TikTok came out to kind of follow suit. So like, why aren't they catching heat? So I don't know. What's everybody's take on that? I'm gonna let the guests go first. I don't know if you followed any of it. Like, should we ban TikTok in the US, or like, why do you think they're trying to do that? Do you think it's a big Chinese like government like conspiracy that they're infiltrating us through our phones and getting information and all that stuff? Or like, what's the deal? What do you think is going on with that?
I mean, if you think about it across the board, if TikTok is the way to destroy our national defense, then it deserves to be destroyed.
Right. Yeah.
If that's the gateway drug to get into, all of our lives, everything that's going on. So, I mean, is there probably some shenanigans? Potentially, but I think in any kind of engagement, especially now what we do online in the cyber world, like there's things that get passed through that, are meant to be, malicious. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to be the thing that is the hard hitting thing that takes us down. I don't lose any sleep over TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I don't watch TikTok.
We have a TikTok channel as well. I watch it occasionally. I think there's some cool videos.
You can get lost on there, man.
Oh, you can. You're like
go down the rabbit hole.
And you're like, you look at the time, holy fuck, I've been on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm watching some old lady make pasta. I don't care about any of that, but I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I have learned a lot of things off TikTok. Like I know that if I drill a hole, and I've already drilled a hole, then I could put like another piece of inside my hole drill, my hole saw, and it'll.
Your TikTok channel is lit.
Yeah,
you have conversations with yourself on there.
Yeah,
you answer like your own.
My own TikTok.
So they're helping you find yourself. They're helping you learn things.
My take on it is that like TikTok, basically Facebook and Instagram are like they're the equivalent of TikTok, except for we control Facebook and Instagram. Like we can call, depending on what party you're on, you can call and talk to old Mark and have what you want manipulated, and they're our own, and we're worried about those manipulating our elections and manipulating like whatever, because you can change the algorithm so that people are targeted, like you target a group or a demographic of people and get them to act on information that may or may not be true, right?
I agree with that.
TikTok is a Chinese company controlled by the Chinese government, and we've used Facebook and other countries to basically sow the seeds or make the environment so that the people in the country wanted to overthrow their government. Why would we think that China would do anything less here? The other problem I see with it, and like I don't think that TikTok is like they have the technology to like see if your pupils are dilated.
Yeah, you saw that video yesterday.
Yeah. Look, his pupils dilated. He must have really liked that video.
Yeah.
Let's show him more of those videos. Like, I don't think that's a thing, but I do think that, especially as cancel culture centered as we've gotten, how easy would it be for China to like have a dossier on people who are coming up like politically and publicly in the world, and like just keep an eye on their TikTok thing, and then at some point when they're trying to do something, be like, hey, remember these TikToks that you made that are problematic? Like,
Yeah, but you could do that now with anything across the board.
But you could also have an entire mountain worth of evidence. Plus, if you like, I didn't even realize this until I saw it on another show, but if you read TikTok's like terms of service, it's not their terms of service when you use the app aren't limited to the app itself. Like you're signing when you agree to it to like allow them to like use your IP address and check out what you're looking at on anything that's attached to that IP address or that uses that IP address, and then keystrokes and what you're searching for any other way. So like,
I mean, Google does all that stuff just like with brands and, like it's all in there. Like the whole thing.
That's advertising as opposed to
pushing out
data.
Yeah, I guess.
In order to.
Well, what we see is advertising, but we don't really know. When you were saying like all the other companies are us. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that either, because I don't know who's running. I mean, Mark's at the head of everything, but there's so many things going on with these tech companies and these cyber companies, and it comes down to our entertainment, but at what cost? So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think banning any company in a free market is a bright thing.
And one of their biggest headquarters is actually in California.
But you can't regulate what
Americans are hired and they work there.
It's like if they're forced to share their algorithm so that you can at least have somebody like a third party, which is what the guy actually said on some of those things, like have a third party come in and basically audit the algorithm to make sure that everything is on the up and up, then whatever. But it's not like it definitely has the potential to be problematic for the government and for America, like in the future. But instead of just banning it, because that sets a precedent that's kind of a little bit on the like crazy side,
extreme.
Instead of banning,
what if they're upset? Because they use Facebook to spy on us and everything, and now TikTok came in, and now they're not able to spy on us as much anymore.
I mean,
nobody is using Facebook.
That is part of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, great.
A lot of it's about social control.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Ooh, that kind of leads into my honesty cap.
You got an honesty cap today?
Oh, I do. I do have an honesty cap, and it's all about TikTok. Have you, Dara? Have you been on TikTok and seen the new like filter that like shows what you look like?
Oh yeah.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God. Well, I have, and it's all over the place. But what they'll do is like these people, like they do this filter, and it like shows. It basically makes you look 20 years younger. So like what you look like as a teenager, and then you're more like below it, which is great. It's kind of cool. It's pretty funny. Like I did it once. I didn't make a video. I just did it to be like,
I'm going to make a video.
Did it look like you?
Nah, it didn't at all look like me. I was like, I didn't have a beard at 15.
So it made you a better you 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, because it was a weird flesh colored like, looking thing all over the place. And I was like, that's
like, you don't know me.
That's not at all good. And, but like they'll make these like recordings, and they're like talking to the person like from 30 years ago, and they're crying and all dramatic, and it's just like,
you're gonna make it. You're gonna do well.
First of all,
you're gonna go through a lot of hardships.
It's gonna be. You're strong.
Like it's really not. The fact that you're talking to yourself, it's not. It's never gonna be okay. You're never gonna be okay.
Infuriating that they cry, and I think it's infuriating that like you just pull it. Like you had to get a $1,500 iPhone and log on when you could have just gotten a high school picture and looked at it and be like, oh, that's what.
And said that shit to the actual you.
Yeah, like what you actually look like. from 30 years ago. Like, put it on your mirror, same effect. It's the analog version.
Try away. Try it out.
It's ridiculous. Like, stop. Just pull up a picture and talk to it.
Yeah.
And the person that you were 30 years ago ain't hearing it. It's not like you were just walking around and all of a sudden there's a voice in your head that's like, I'm going to be great.
But again, it's TikTok. They did that purposely so people make videos.
Oh, and they do.
And they do.
Definitely.
And they do. They get suckered in. But you know what? A lot of TikTok, it's like natural selection.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, like it doesn't bother me at all that certain people, like, they're going to ruin their lives because they're on TikTok now, making things now that later on are going to be so irrelevant and make them look so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That, it's not even, we don't even need the Chinese government to make us look bad. We do it all ourselves. So,
their help to advertise.
Yeah. We don't need any help.
Well, see, that's the thing. All of those people were always around. Like, there's always, even in the 70s and the 50s, 40s, they were ridiculous, weird people.
We just gave them a platform. Now they have a platform.
But we get to see them every day in our house,
right?
Like spewing whatever idiotic thing they want to do,
right.
Or watching themselves from 30 years ago crying because we made it.
I'm sorry I got you so triggered, man.
You made it.
But you really didn't. You really didn't make it because look what you're doing.
Still literally 3 trailers down, Karen. It's chill out. Everything's gonna be all right. It's insane.
Husto, what up, Husto? Husto says in the chat, I had installed it and then had to uninstall it as I went down the rabbit hole. So yeah.
Well, I did the same thing. I took Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff off of my
recruiting command made it completely illegal. They couldn't
military.
How are there so many people though? Like the TikTok Sergeant Major, who has a channel, has got 500,000 followers.
I have no idea.
It's a very fine line because even when I was in recruiting for the Air Force, so I used to use Facebook to stalk applicants.
Yeah.
I just left recruiting command and we use Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you use all of it and then we use it for our marketing. So there's good ways to use it. And then but again, you have those special people who they don't understand that fine line, no matter what it is.
The military's all over TikTok, though.
The military's on it, but they're also
these privates that are going on there, on CQ, and they're going live on TikTok.
But they're completely lost on how to regulate TikTok. They have no idea what they can and can't do, and there's no guidance when sit down. So you'll get some that are what you kind of want. So people that are recruiting or advertising for the military, or whatever, and then you get the annoyed E4 that's yeah, man, I'm getting kicked out of the Army and all I did was rob some strippers.
Or doing a TikTok dance video on the flight line.
Yeah. Or even worse, the dudes that used to show up in the gym with their split shirt and they're living now they're I know you do.
But I'm wearing it right now under this.
Now they're Baseman's got
now they're in their now they're in their freaking uniform with a split T-shirt, lifting the chicks that are it's one thing if you want to sexualize yourself, fine, do it. It's your body,
of course.
You have 100%. The right to do whatever you want to do. If you want to wear a bikini on TikTok, wear a bikini on TikTok, but don't sexualize yourself in the uniform.
No, people don't have to. I have a friend right now investigating this chick who had a fans only page, but was in her uniform, just straight up, just living her best life, getting 2 checks.
Some of those girls make millions.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure she's not hard-shipped at all about if she gets kicked out of the military.
No, she'll be fine.
I'm pretty sure she'll.
Some of those girls make millions. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it's not ridiculous at all. I'm all for it.
Ridiculous for them.
Even the feet under shit. There's
the foot shavings or do some crazy stuff to get
money for stuff. Yeah.
People are weird.
But that's why it bothers me when I see people talk about I can't find a job. The hell you can.
Yeah.
Jobs everywhere.
Take a picture of your nasty ass feet.
I saw an article the other day, and we're gonna get to the guest here obviously here in a sec. But I saw an article the other day. You remember that Cash Me Outside? How about that?
Yeah, the Dr. Phil chick
or whatever her name is. Yeah. I saw an article on her the other day, and she made $50 million through OnlyFans.
Rich.
She turned 18. It's kind of sick because obviously people were following her when she was 14, 15. But
people were waiting. And
people were waiting, but she turned 18, and now she's like, it was like $50 million.
Yeah. So people like, did she embarrass herself? Yeah, but did she care?
Making that bread, making that money. Like, have at it.
Yeah.
Your thing. But that was
While
crazy.
she's rolling around her Bentley, I'm pretty sure she's not worried about what you think about her Catch Me Outside.
Her mom, a beautiful house. She does like buy like, she gets like scholarships for kids and stuff. Like, I guess she's maybe changed a little bit. I don't know. I don't really follow her. But there's also a tax write off.
Yeah, it was a character she was playing anyway.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
I'm not a big fan of that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Like, which is only messed up and that part is only jacked up because then like people, particularly like young people, young kids, and especially girls see it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I'm going to do the same thing. It's like, well, first of all, she was like the first person or, one of the first groups to do it. So she made $50 million. You're not going to make $50 million.
Cliff, our mental health warrior. What's up, Cliff? He said I had an OnlyFans, but I had to pay them to keep the account.
He was the only one watching.
I guess he's referring to OnlyFans. He said I tried that and I was banned. Bikinis don't fit me well. He probably should.
He was his only subscriber.
I went into debt on my own account.
Warrior, Clifford Bauman. Okay, Cliff. Yeah. But anyway, we should get to our guest.
So our guest.
Hello.
Sergeant.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this.
You're Sergeant
Airman.
Air God.
Didn't they change that?
Goddess.
Is it Air Goddess? And then it's like, but it's like Air Person now. Is that what they're doing?
No, Master,
Sergeant, Master, Major, Air. And by the way, if you see a Master, Sergeant, Major, General in the Air Force, they look like they have the sleeve of a South American general. Like it's, they actually have to go to like 10.
Like a tiger.
To get their rank sewn on, they have to there are thousands of little Taiwanese children. That's all they do all day. It's like a little sweatshop.
We do not believe in child labor. We
Air Force rank. Well,
that's what our airmen do. We have our airmen.
Not in CONUS. CONUS, of course you don't. But to get that rank sewn on, you got to have that and like one of those big steam
We should
rollers
start that as a conspiracy.
that they like roll the streets out with. That's what earns that patch.
We need to start that.
So
That's a
big.
conspiracy.
I feel like a lot of hateration, just a lot of like.
Well, I just don't understand why you have
jealous energy.
First of all, there are a couple things I don't understand. One is why the Navy and the Air Force have camouflage uniforms. Like, who are you hiding from? There's nobody.
My supervisor. like you don't know me. Yeah, you don't know what I got to do to survive.
Major Dara, we gotta get out of here. She's gotta.
When my lunch break extends the time it's supposed to be, I gotta navigate my way back in the building.
She's gonna catch me anyway. She's from MilCruit, which soft launched and but basically helps veterans find jobs, and it's like a network. Really, is what kind of I read about. It's like a network that you guys are creating, like a community to help veterans kind of like work within themselves to find jobs and support each other. Is that correct? Is that about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who still has your back? And I should have said that. Who still was in the Air Force as well. We're just jealous because you guys had air conditioned tents. Yeah.
Air conditioned. I'm pretty sure that I saw it. I'm almost certain when I was in Kuwait getting ready to go to Iraq once, I saw an Air Force private who had a lower ranking private carrying an air conditioner by them, just so when they were walking outside.
Bringing it to my tent. Doing right.
I think they had those bubble balls.
I never saw Air Force.
They had bubble balls, and they were just like hamstering it around, but the bubble balls had air conditioning.
I never saw Air Force on the deployment. They always kept them far away from us.
Yeah. Well,
were you in Katrina? Real quick before.
No, I was in school.
Oh yeah, when we deployed to Katrina, they had Air Force on the base, and they had advised the Air Force to stay away from the 82nd
Yeah.
A bunch of baby killers.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they were like staying in nice hotels while we were in this.
I mean, we only had so many immunizations, so we had to make sure that we could go the length.
9 months later, there were a bunch of
Well, even in like Kuwait and stuff, I never saw the Air Force. They stayed on like their own little port section on base, you know. But anyway, welcome to the dumpster fire that is already.
I love it. I love it.
And just tell us what you do. Tell us a little bit about, your time in the Air Force as well, how many years, and the floor is yours.
Well, hi to the whole veteran trash talk world and everyone that's out there listening. This moment is really important to me. One, because I like to meet like-minded people and people that support our veteran community. So I really appreciate that. But ultimately, retired from the Air Force July of 2021. I did 22 years in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Half of it was in aircraft maintenance, and then the other half was in recruiting service. Both I loved equally, but at some point, you realize it's time to punch. So I ended up deciding to retire, moved to Florida. I took a year off when I retired, mainly because I had in my head that I wasn't going to work, but I'm a workaholic. So after about a year of and plus my husband works from home, so he was wanting me to make sandwiches and shit. And I'm like, that's not why I retired. So, then I would leave the house and try to go to Target, and then I'm spending money. So I was like, all right, I got to figure something out. So I decided to get back in the workforce, jump back into recruiting because I love recruiting. But what I realized is so I love my company. They're great. We do great things, get people employed, but my company isn't very veteran focused. The business side that they're in is just it's not heavy in that field. So, and it doesn't mean that I don't help veterans, but it's not the primary focus of their recruiting efforts. So I was like, okay, well, I always promised myself that when I retired, I would do something that I was passionate about. And, when I retired, it was during COVID, and that was a complete shit show.
Crazy times, yeah.
And I was in the training command at Lackland, where the Air Force basic training is. So, not to get into the politics of it, but some things were just not handled the way ethically that I felt was ethically sound. So I was like, all right, it's time to bounce. And that's kind of what led me to retiring. Best decision I could have made though, but when I did retire, I always said, well, I'm going to help people through this process, because even trying to get help for counseling or talking to anybody, mental health type issues, because everyone believes it's not a thing, and it's a huge thing for our community. So I was always super passionate about, okay, I got to help people figure out how to do their VA stuff, how to get things documented, because to me, it's they don't help us with that at the end. At the end, it's bye. Thanks.
Yeah, help you with that at any point. I don't know how the Air Force does it, but in the Army, they're like, just go to sick call and then leave, but down, you don't write.
Nobody really you think about the blood, sweat, and tears you put in, and all the things that we do, and the hours that we spend, and the sacrifices that we make, and then ultimately, once you say you're retiring, it's kind of oh, well, fine, you're leaving some kind of gang, they pretty much, you're dead to them. So I still have a lot of respect for people that I worked alongside, but at the end of the day, I had to take care of my own retirement. So then, once I did retire, I was like, okay, well, my goal is to help as many veterans as I can. Got into the job, not really, love the job, but it wasn't really scratching that itch per se. So luckily I came across Monty just because he works with one of my best friends, and she was like, hey, he's talking about launching this group. What do you think about it? He's considering bringing someone else on. Would you interview or for it? And I was like, absolutely, anything that I can do. And once I talked to him and Carl, the other founder, I was like, this is amazing. So, essentially MilCruit, the one thing that I love about it, we do our hard launch on the 3rd of April. And unlike some of the other organizations, I don't think there should be any competition when it comes to
all kind of work together, right?
Yeah. When these organizations that support our veterans, I don't care in what outlet or avenue they do it, it cracks me up when I hear people comparing or saying this one's better. because if someone gets support there, like that's it. That organization checked the box. Like they met the criteria, even if one person got help. So to me, you know, like when people, as a recruiter, when people would call me and say, "Hey, Dara, I'm about to get out," or, you know, "I'm thinking about hitting the button, like what's out there for me?" You know, but if it's not in my lane, what am I supposed to do? You know, like there's nothing I can do. I only recruit for certain things. And then we end up just like passing them off to somebody else or saying, go to this organization and see what they can do for you. And like, that's exhausting. That's exhausting for the veteran. That's exhausting for their family. It's just like they need someone that's going to commit and dedicate their time to help them.
Through the process.
And that's the big thing is that commitment, right? So, you know, that's what MilCruit's all about. The goal is it's literally going to be a community of, you know, ex-military that are now in the recruiting space in some way, shape, or form, not that actually have the capacity to hire somebody. And then, or a military spouse, veteran spouse in that talent acquisition space. So that's the community. And the beautiful thing about it is that anyone in that community has the same access as anybody else. So yeah, okay, there's people starting it. You know, myself, along with Carl and Monty, yes, we're going to build this up. But the great thing about it is no one has to reach out to me to get shit done.
Right.
Everyone in our community has the same access. So if someone reaches out to them and they can't place them in a position, they can say, okay, well, where are you looking to be? Okay, I want to be in Texas. I want to be in oil and gas. And they can literally go to our community and find someone actively recruiting in that field, in that area, you know, that has that military background to understand what they're going through.
Nice. And that was a question I was going to ask you. So you guys, did you already have like a list set up? Like, obviously this takes a lot of work because you guys are doing all the research, you know, to be able to tie a veteran and, you know, who's in North Carolina right now but wants to move to Arizona. Oh yeah, we got a spot in Arizona. So you guys like contacting all these businesses, or are you guys like how?
So yeah, so that's kind of the phase that we're in now, which is building the community.
Right.
So it's all about vetting, making sure, okay, yes, are you prior military? Are you in talent acquisition? You know, that do you have the capability of actually hiring? Do you have positions? And then once we determine all that, then we can add them into the community. So we have this huge list of people that come April 3rd are part of the launch.
Nice.
And you think about like the power in numbers, especially in our veteran community. So, you know, if every single member, you know, if we have 200 members and every member just brings one more person, you start to think about how that could start to multiply over time and just really create this, you know, this robust community of people that it's literally one call, one click. Yes, I know someone in that specific field that is recruiting right now. You know, and even if that contact leads to that candidate finding out, you know what, you don't have the right experience, you don't have the right credentials, there's more things that you're going to need. Your resume is not quite what we're looking for.
Right.
You know, they're not hearing it. Like if I'm recruiting for healthcare, I shouldn't be looking at someone's resume, telling them how, you know, marketable they are for something in IT. We need to get them over to somebody that specifically does that. Because I think a lot of times
that also gives them like, because we have a lot of people that, you know, you spend 20 years in the military, you spend 30 years in the military, get out of the military and be certified in the military to do a litany of things, like a whole list of, you know, do surgery on people and you get out and realize.
And you don't have that. It's not.
Those certifications,
it's not accepted or acknowledged.
But even getting in with somebody that has like specific career knowledge about like exactly what that field is looking for, at least then if you don't like any of your certifications, like you're not qualified for the job, it's just something that you've been working in and you want to do, at least then you have almost a guide that can look at your resume and say, hey, look, you don't have this, this, and this, or things that you need. But instead of being like a blind squirrel trying to like bump its head on a nut in the forest, you can literally like go, okay, well, I don't have this, this, and this. I need to go get these three things, instead of having your focus on kind of what you guess they're looking for and then trying to get those qualifications. Like you can get those, I guess, narrow your focus and lower the time from when you're not qualified to when you are qualified, so that you can come in and your resume looks like it's supposed
Yeah,
to.
exactly. By the time you retire or separate, because I mean, you think about this day and age, like not a lot of people are retiring. People
Yeah.
are getting out earlier just because there's the compensation piece, the retirement piece, everything's changing.
Culture's
Like,
changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like people don't stay in, you know, sometimes people get out. Like my husband only stayed in for 8 years. You know,
Yeah.
and then he followed me around. So when you look
Yeah.
at things like our goal is that, you know,
That's because you were a Master Sergeant Major Martin.
yeah, general
General.
badass goddess.
Actually, somebody had to help carry your
I was
shoulders.
all the things.
Somebody had to
So,
hold your shoulders up with all that.
yeah, he held my cape
Yeah. There you
with
go.
all my stripes.
Yeah, everywhere. There's stripes all over the place.
Yeah.
So now people can start transitioning or going like transitioning out of the army, like, or military, I guess. I think
2
it's
years out
military
now.
wise. It's 2 years out for everybody.
I think
right?
it's just the Army.
Or is that just the Army?
What do you mean?
Basically, you can drop your retirement 2 years out now. It just changed.
No, I know for Air Force it's a year.
Yeah, well, they just changed it for the Army. I thought it was military.
And it could be across the board, but I haven't heard it, but I also don't
So
follow up on
can,
that.
after April 3rd. So on April 4th, if somebody plans on retiring 2 years from then, would they be able to get a hold of MilCruit and be like, hey, I would like to move to this place. I would like to do this. Can I go ahead and start? But
You're trying to see if
trying
they
to
can
get
forecast that.
They can
Yeah.
they can go ahead and contact you up to 2 years out when they're
Oh yeah,
retiring.
at any point in time.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's our goal is that
Not yet.
yeah, we provide services that it's that one-on-one immediate contact with an actual person actually in that field in this moment that can speak to that. Because a lot of times I think we just, you even if you were to go over to a certain organization, they may be able to help you, but they may not know the specifics of that, that career field, what
And
have
a
you.
lot of those career fields too, they might need, and maybe for you guys is look up the SkillBridge program, where a lot of those companies that aren't doing it definitely sign up for it. Like my wife does it. She's partnered with the DoD for SkillBridge, and that's where I did my SkillBridge. I got my real estate license. And and you can do that in the Army. It's 6 months out. I think it's for the other branches as well. 6 months out, you do an internship with whatever company. You're not allowed to get paid by them because you're still getting paid by the military. And then at the end of the internship, they can say, hey, we're going to keep you on, or you're not, suited for this job. So when you guys are contacting these companies to put them, on your huge list, I don't know if they have to have a certain amount of employees or whatever, but tie that all in.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, you said the word companies, but the beautiful thing for us is it's recruiter, it's people. So the beauty of it is like if you were to contact me and say, hey, look, Dara, I'm about to, retire in like a year and a half. I'm thinking about my family and I really want to go back home. We're going to go back to North Carolina.
Yep.
This is the field I want to be in. What do you recommend? Well, I don't know, because I'm in Florida and that's not my field.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I can do is go into my community and say, look, I have this person right here that is recruiting right now in North Carolina for that specific field. And they're a member of MilCruit. And they're someone that has already decided and dedicated to take that time to work with you. And the great thing about it is we can have SkillBridge opportunities on there. People can start connecting early. It's just to have that immediate contact as opposed to, the broad programs that are out there where, yes, they're going to support you in showing you all your education benefits and all these other things that you can do. But a lot of people are like, I need a job.
Yep.
Like, I want to know that when I punch that my family's taken care of.
That's that's a very important time.
Yeah,
it's a stressful
absolutely.
time, like you said earlier. It's a stressful time, not just for the individual, but for the family. You could, especially for individuals that served for a long time, and they go through the identity crisis and all the issues, and
absolutely
not having a job and not going and doing range control or whatever. It
is a scary feeling, and like for me, like even me, like when I decided to work, like great, I was a recruiter in the military, and I had a recruiter network outside of the military. So, I just made a few calls and I was lined up with something, but that's not the case, for majority of the people separating or retiring. They're like, who the hell do I call? And a lot of times they call someone that, they either have, have a good relationship with that is now transitioned but again, like, unless we don't want that dead end, we never want that veteran getting out to have that dead end of, well, I tried to call these people and it turned into nothing. So now I'm going to hope one of these organizations can lead me somewhere. Our goal is that we link you up with a specific person. Now, again, we can't guarantee employment. This community isn't about guaranteeing employment, but it's just to enhance career opportunities, because again, we're a minority. Veterans are a minority.
That is correct.
So like for us, we want to make sure that we're, putting our candidates in the hands of somebody who served, who understands what that process is like, that gives a shit, and that is willing to help them and prepare them for either a position with whomever it is they work for, or give a handoff to someone that is hiring in that same field, as opposed to just saying, like, I can look at your resume, but that's about it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Husto in the chat says, I'm open to volunteer and train any individual. Husto and I go back, when I was living in Germany. He's asking where in Florida. Well, you're in Jacksonville because Husto lives in Miami as well. He travels back and forth, but he's saying he'd love to connect and, help out and volunteer and do whatever he can.
And that's what we want. That's, this first phase is all about recruiters. But we're going to have other phases that roll out because there's other people within talent acquisition that may not be recruiting. They could be the military liaisons within companies, the ones that drive those skill bridge programs and the numbers. So we want our community to grow to a point where, we have a resource for each person that would reach out.
Yeah.
Each person, and it's not up to me. It's not up to Monty. It's literally every single person has the same access as anybody else. They can just go on our network.
Yeah, you mentioned VA earlier. You guys thinking about getting like a VSO or whatever, or somebody to like talk somebody through the process of submitting their,
Absolutely. And that's our goal, is that we have all these relationships that, Monty, he has these big dreams, and I love it because that's how things get momentum and things stay, is when you got to keep thinking, and just, when you think about making decisions at the Department of Labor and being able to change, what system norms are to better help our veterans in the future. Because, it's constantly changing. Things are constantly changing, but we always want to make sure that, like, when someone's getting ready to retire, they don't have to all of a sudden struggle, or when they're separating, figure out, okay, I got to create this LinkedIn. I got to get all these people to follow me to be successful. I have to, that's not the case for everyone. Some people just want a solid employment, a solid career, so that they can take care of their family and actually, walk away from the military feeling confident, for their future.
And all these services, you might have mentioned, are all free. Like, obviously, if somebody joins a community, like, how does that work? Like, they're all free services, obviously, right? They're not.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is literally just a community. There's no products.
Still recruiting. Yeah. You're just, instead of having to go find somebody to recruit, you're getting people sent to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I've had people reach out to me that I can't, like, I'm just not recruiting for that specific thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been able to call, a friend that I have recruiting somewhere else and connect them. And, if you think of that on a larger scale, just having, you would have the opportunity to make sure that everyone that would reach out, we can connect them with a person.
Yeah.
Not a system, not submit your resume, but an actual person to say, let's look at this. Let's see if this is good for you. And let's, see if we can find something.
Yeah. So just real quick, because I have a couple, like, I'm just in school, so I'll be getting out of school. And I have a couple of things that I wrote, like a list of things. So I need you to find me a recruiter, but I want to make approximately $1 million a year.
Uh-huh.
And I don't like to work.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that minimal. If this was a graph, right? If we had like a scale, if you could make income up here and work input down here, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to really do anything I'm not qualified to do. I need that
for 2 hours a week. 2 hours a week.
2 hours is a lot per week.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot.
I don't know if you know, I'm on TikTok.
So that's your new job, 2 hours on TikTok. Well, let's be real, that a lot of our veterans, when we say the word veteran, we're speaking enlisted, officer, any rank, and, even, spouses. It's good to connect somebody with someone else that has served, that is now working in the civilian sector, because
we all speak the
sometimes you
same
need a slice of humble pie. to realize, look, you're not going to get that much money. You're not that marketable.
Yep.
And here's why. Someone has to tell them. Because I think a lot of times people leave the military, okay, I left after 22 years. I feel like I did some significant shit in 22 years.
Yeah.
But like when I went to interview, like I'm a regular recruiter. I didn't get some manager position. Because I don't want one. So I had to really realize like, I'm not that important. This company who's never heard of me. I'm not master, sergeant, master, general. Like they don't give a shit.
You should just carry that big ass patch and slap.
That would be worse. Like if I'd shown up to my interview.
Everybody in the Air Force flies planes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have just pulled up to my interview in my plane.
Maybe
And then just like drop the mic and been like, you need me.
That way if something happens with the plane, you can just get a machete out and chop that thing off and just hold on to it and parachute down.
That's probably makes sense.
Basically a glider.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you I know you guys did your soft launch. I mean, what do you guys I mean, I don't know if you know or not, or don't know, but what is have you seen that to be a problem, like that people get out? And I mean, you got to think about it. We've all done it. You get out of the military after 20, 22, 24 years. And, at some point, you're a fairly decent sized fish in the pond that you happen to be in. And then you jump out here into this ocean out here with these civilians. And like,
I mean, it's weird. It's weird.
You're not as big a fish, but you still talk to people like you're a big fish. It doesn't really translate well.
And they're confused listening to it.
And they're like, all right, I'm the new manager of McDonald's. I need everybody's strip map.
Yeah.
I need your phone number. Like if you get a TUI,
you better call me.
Then you're gonna work for McDonald's. 45 extra. You got 45 and 45. I'm locking you back in the freezer area.
And your whole staff quits.
Yeah.
Pass if you go out of state.
Hey guys, it's Friday. I need everybody to come outside.
Yep, we're gonna do a safety brief.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're just gonna sweep rocks in the parking lot because you were 5 minutes late.
Hey, when I was walking in, I saw a couple. There was some weeds growing. I need to.
Hey, we're gonna do a police call out here now.
But it's a crazy feeling. Like I mean, even in my role now, my coach, my lead, she's a young professional. She's 26. She's really training to be a big lead within our. But like, I mean, you're talking about a 40-something-year-old and a 26-year-old. Now she's brilliant. She is exactly where she should be. But it's like sometimes when I'll mess something up. And it's because like she'll be like, why is this like, I'm like, honestly, before I got here, someone else did that for me. So I'm not used to doing it, or, like even just the simple things of just realizing like where you are. Now I'm perfectly happy with where I am because, I have kids. I want to be there for them. I didn't retire to start a whole new career, but I think people really need, before they come to a recruiter and say, I want to work in this field and make this much money, they really have to have an understanding of who they want to be when they get out.
Of course.
And that's why the earlier the better. And the more you connect with people that'll be real with you and explain to you, like, this is what this entails. This is what's required. This is what you're going to have to do. Like, I feel like people wait way too late in the process, where they're scrambling and they're like, I just need to make this amount of money. And I have these skill sets. But it's just not translatable, or it doesn't make sense. So, the goal is that we really just want to connect them with a person to person, someone that's really just doing it already. I'm in this. This is what I do. These are the types of people we hire. And this is how you compare to them.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And well, somebody needs to explain to him. I had a really good buddy of mine that went and got his MBA after he retired. And, he got done with his MBA, and I called him, and I was like, "Damn, man, you're about to crush it. You're gonna be making $400,000 or $500,000 a year." And he laughed, and he was like, "Yeah, I could." He's like, "But I realized about halfway through this MBA program that $400,000 or $500,000 a year sounds really good, but I don't want $400,000 or $500,000 a year worth of responsibility."
Yeah. No.
I want about $70,000 worth of responsibility. I want to go home and not give a shit about what's going on at work.
Exactly. I never want to manage another human being ever again.
Right. Well, but the thing is, knowing what you want and then knowing what you actually need. Like people are like, I need to make $500,000 a year. For what?
Yeah, no, that's very, very
what you
good
don't
point.
realize is that people that are making $500,000 a year are working $500,000 a year.
Hours. Yeah.
Those hours are up here. And
then you miss life, and you know,
a lot of things. And
but a lot of it is an identity. Like people have this identity in the military, and they need, when they retire, to still maintain this identity of being important. And on the civilian sector, that's typically done with the dollars you make. You know, the position you hold.
You know what? It may be done with the dollars you make, but at the same time, like in the military, your identity kind of comes from like a little bit is your rank, but a lot of it is also like there are times where you live with the people you work with 24 hours a day for extended periods of time. So like they get to know you in the civilian workforce. At 5:02, I don't give a shit who you are. Like I'm going to my house. Like I don't
exactly.
And
when I log off, I'm logged off. Mentally, everything.
Like they're done. Like I'm done. Like I don't care about what's going on here until tomorrow. You know, whereas, and I think a lot of people don't really understand that. So like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have $500,000. If you can't enjoy spending $500,000, you could make $500 million a year and still not be happy.
Yeah, who's still saying that, dude? Amen. Making multiple six figures comes with too many responsibilities.
Oh yeah,
absolutely right.
Yeah, too many.
So he's asking a question. He said, "Have you noticed if officers have an easier transition than enlisted?" And I would venture to say, depending on the rank, their networking through. I do think their transition is a little bit better. Maybe
their qualifications. Well, their transition may be better, but at the same time, they also come in with a degree.
Yep.
So if we have to get out and get a degree, or finish our degree or whatever, so that's of course going to make it a little bit easier.
Yep.
But then again, they're also going into professions that we're not so much trying to go into. They're going into like
HR,
financial, into banking, into HR, and things like that.
But there's two things to look at, right? You have the fact that, okay, the opportunity and then the expectation. So yes, for officers, I think there's a lot more opportunities already pending.
Agreed.
But it's their expectation. What are they going to get? So I think the hardship comes in when, you have a specific salary rate that you expect.
Right.
Or, you have these things that you expect to happen because of who you were in the military. So I don't think the challenge is necessarily the opportunity, but the expectation.
Yeah.
Because that's from a recruiting standpoint, what we deal with when we're communicating, like, we understand that you did this. But in comparison to our candidates that weren't in the military, this is what you need to have.
Right.
To get that dollar amount. And that's the hard part. That's where the pushback is. Because again, they have this feeling of what they've earned or should have. And I'm not saying they shouldn't feel that way, but
also spend a lot more time in staff positions throughout their career.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot more.
That's where the money is going to come from later, is because that's where staff positions are, where middle management and management and company owners.
I feel their networking is different too.
Whereas we spend some time.
It is because they're more dealing, especially when you look at the civilian side.
Like the networking that happens, like amongst colonels and everything, or lieutenant colonels. I feel like they've already.
Well, sergeant majors are the same way.
Bridge that.
I was exactly the same way.
A bunch of inbred sergeant majors all freaking.
But that's the thing. Like the hard part is if you have like somebody that leaves the Marines after 4 years as infantry, like what kind of network do they have?
Right.
And if you look at the network they have,
they don't even have a base skill set. If you've only been in the military for, I would even say 10 or 15 years, and you decide to get out.
Yeah.
You have, especially as an enlisted person, I can't speak as an officer. Officers, of course, will have already had like the ability to get a master's degree and the ability to have staffed and done a bunch of other things that actually you can quantify on a resume.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas enlisted people, after that amount of time, there's not it's very difficult to quantify things that are very qualitative.
I shoot good.
In our,
I shoot good.
Yeah. Like I shot good. Yeah. I shot
I blew some shit up.
Yeah.
One shot, one kill.
Know how to blow things up. I'm good at that. But like, especially after 4 years or 4, 5, 6, and sometimes even 10 years, you're still at the base level. You're a skill level 1, skill level 2 operator in whatever you're doing, and then you get out and you're expecting to somehow transfer directly over to be a skill level 1 or 2 operator of whatever you're doing. Well, when you there's no lateral transfer from military to civilian, you're definitely going to go down. And if you're only a 1 or a 2, you're going to go down to a 0, and you're going to have to rebuild everything over again. The only difference is you get to rebuild with the GI Bill or some other type of benefit.
But not everybody's built for that, and like one of the goals of MilCruit is to be able to bridge that gap for someone that may not have an already developed network, which is more often the case. Because I know right now senior NCOs or even young officers that don't even have a LinkedIn setup that are planning to get out. You don't need LinkedIn. You don't. But if you don't have a network of people who have already said, like, I got your back, I will help you, like, where do you start? Because we always talk about, the market, and it's not what you know, but who you know.
Yeah.
Well, it sucks, but that's the nature of the business.
Have you found that seems to be a problem too? Is that it seems like a lot of times we have that network, especially if you've been in the military for 20 or 22 or 24 years, you've got a network. Every one of us has a network. We don't all have we don't all think that we're allowed to access that network to ask for these things.
Exactly.
We don't want to abuse that network and be like, I haven't talked to this guy for a little bit. I'm not going to call him and be like, oh, can I get a job, or do you know anybody hiring?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before on the show.
Yeah.
But we talked about it more in like a mental health, or like when you don't call somebody in your network, you're really taking away an opportunity for them to make themselves feel better, to help another person, because we all help other people.
Exactly.
Like, stealing an opportunity from them by not asking,
by not contacting them.
Yeah, by not saying, hey, like, you know anybody? Like, so
this is good stuff.
It's a mindset that a lot of people that are getting out have to kind of get over. And then I think, I don't know, like I went through, and you retired in COVID, so I can't even imagine how difficult that would have been with all of the BS. Like,
you couldn't get a doctor's appointment. Everything was virtual.
Everything virtual. But I retired closer. I retired almost exactly a year ago, and it was closer, kind of the end of COVID. And even then, it was like go into a briefing, and they may brief you. And I'm not trying to detract from the people that are like giving out the information at like TAP and all that stuff that are trying to get you like. But I am saying that they give these like fire hose worth of information out.
Yeah.
But none of it applies to everybody and nobody all at the same time.
All at the same time.
Yeah. And it's just like, why am I even here? Like you're giving me, I'm a 45-year-old dude. You're giving me a class on balancing my checkbook.
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Like, I don't care if it's balanced or not. I'm getting out. So what do you have for me?
If I don't know how to balance a checkbook, first of all,
can you pay your bills? I need a job.
I was gonna say, who uses
using a checkbook? Like, I have a checkbook, but it's in like a drawer, and I have to go find it every time I have to write some kind of check.
I can't recall the last time I wrote a check.
I had to I'm not even joking. I had to Google, like, wait, where do I sign? Because so long since I had written a check. I was like,
how do I write the dollar out? Like,
do I need to write cents and then slash?
Thanks for the stars, Rob. Rob sent us some stars. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Appreciate your stars.
What does that mean?
What was the
It's
star?
monetized. So they actually go and buy stars on Facebook with their own money, and then they send us stars. Oh, damn! Who's those? Thank you. You sent us some stars too, and then
Who sent us stars?
we can turn it into cash. That's
Cheers
money.
to those sending us stars.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
You guys are awesome.
You'll meet Husto. He's coming to the retirement party. He's actually flying in from Germany to come.
Cool.
In the Air Force Cat. Yep.
Whoa, I never seen the star.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
We
educated you today, huh? This has been a great show. This is a lot of information.
We got all the stars.
Yeah, I can't wait
You know why?
to follow the progress, you know, and see where you guys go with this. And obviously utilizing our network and Veteran Trash Talk, like whatever you guys need, you know, like we're gonna. I know Nick's pretty close with your partner, so like, yeah, this is.
I mean, you guys have already done so much just setting up our swag store.
Yep.
So for anyone listening, you know, obviously you can go to Veteran Trash Talk and get very cool and hilarious swag. But you can also look up MilCruit.
Yep.
And then we have our swag on there as well. They're really been supportive, and you know, because we're super small right now, and I truly appreciate you guys just extending that and helping us out.
What so the recruiters that you guys use or that are in your network? So if I was a recruiter and say I wanted to help the military, but I wasn't in the military at any point, you guys are cool with those people contacting you and being utilized also?
Yeah. So I'm sorry, were you done?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So everything's going to be in a phased process. There's not to say that there's not military friendly or military affiliated recruiters that have never been in the service that are recruiting now. But, you know, there's right now trying to get everything going. So our goal is that the first phase is prior military that are in the recruiting space. And the reason why is because if you've ever recruited before, you know, even recruiting for the military, sometimes it's like people are numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want that to be the case.
Yep.
We want to make sure when we tell a candidate, look, call this person, this person's going to contact you, that relationship is there.
You want to give that red carpet treatment.
Exactly. And like when you have a military veteran that has since retired, separated, what have you, that is in talent acquisition, at the end of the day, they know that process. They know what it felt like to leave. They know what it felt like to job hunt. They know what it felt like. You know, our civilian recruiters who have not served don't necessarily have that. Mm-hmm. It's not to say that, you know, a couple months down the line, we're not going to, you know, grow our network more to have others. But right now we want that accountability that person that, you know, went through that process is now helping someone that is going through that process.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. It's also, it seems a lot more about quality instead of the quantity of the network.
Yeah. One of our members said something to me the other day on the phone, and he was like, you know what, he was like, he was kind of on the fence with what MilCruit was. So he was like, tell me about it. He's like, he had to call me. He has to hear words. He can't use typing. So I was talking to him and he was like, just tell me. He's like, I don't care about quota. He's like, I'm not worried about my quota. I don't care how many people I put. I just want to help a veteran. Tell me that that's what matters and I'll do it. Damn. So like, you know, that spoke volumes to me because it's not about me helping other people fill their positions.
Right.
It's about the person, you know? So for us, like, we just want to be that community that a candidate knows if I go find someone that has MilCruit listed, that if they cannot help me, they are going to guaranteed put me in contact with someone who will.
Yeah.
Not just pass me along and pass me along and pass me along and send my resume over here and maybe this person will look at it. And, you know, we just want to make sure that
mindset. If you guys operate like that and 2 years down the road, this thing's going to be huge.
Yeah. Well, how do people like say, you know, if I agree with what you're doing and I am or a veteran, haven't been a veteran, whatever, but I want to like help out, where do they send, like, can they donate to like help with your operating cost or any of that stuff? How would they do that? Is it a nonprofit or is it?
So we're not set up as a nonprofit right now. I feel like over time it's going to turn into something bigger. Right now, legit, just a community, just a community of dedicated volunteers that have decided to be a part of this. So for us, you know, anyone that is interested in hearing more, seeing how MilCruit can help them, or seeing if they can be a part of MilCruit, they can reach out to myself, to Monty. We have a MilCruit LinkedIn page. You can go to our MilCruit LinkedIn page, MilCruit. You can follow our hashtag MilCruit, to get more information. You can stalk me on LinkedIn. Just go to my page, Dara Laura, and then you'll find everything. But, just message us, ask. This is a completely volunteer movement to build this community to where it gets to a point where literally we have someone working in every different function all over the world to help people, just connect them, like I said, with either that employment opportunity or that mentorship, just that support to figure out, okay, is this the right thing for me, and do I have what I need to do it?
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like I said, it sounds like you guys are a lot of people that get out of the military, or a lot of military people that get together and come up with an idea, lose their freaking mind, and they're like, okay, today we're gonna have 3 recruiters, but by a week from now, we're gonna be on every platform. We're gonna have 1 million recruiters, and we'll be getting 4 million jobs for people all within 3 weeks. And they let their mind and the possibilities outpace what can actually be. And it seems like you guys are really trying to be sustainable and, be there for the long haul.
Absolutely.
Refreshing to see.
We got to post LinkedIn again in the chat. And for those of you, Husto's like, can you repeat it again? Husto, just rewind the video.
We can't. He's watching it live.
Oh, we're live. Are we live? Are we really live?
You can rewind it. Yeah. But if you want to say it again, Chris,
you old bastard. That's
why. So you can either find me on LinkedIn, Dara, Dara, Laura, Lora. But the best thing to do is to follow hashtag MilCruit, MilCruit. You can also go to our MilCruit LinkedIn page. Just type in your search MilCruit. And then you will find our page with all of our people. Follow the page. We have a lot of updates about things going on. April 3rd is our hard launch. That's when we hope that our community will be up to at least 200. It's really close to that right now. We just have to load them because we have a separate platform for our community. And once we have that, that's 200 people that have already decided that, yes, I'm here for it. And if each one of those that week invites another person, this thing will just grow exponentially over time, because what will make this function is the members, is the community. It's a community-led, community-driven organization. It's everyone has the same capacity to help as anybody else. So that's our goal. And then anyone that's interested or about to transition or already transitioned or has a spouse that's going through, whether it be a move, PCS, what have you, and needs, they can reach out. They can come to MilCruit. Now, our community will only be recruiters, not candidates, because we can't have a candidate linking with another candidate. It'd be a waste of damn time. So it's all recruiters, but they can reach out to anybody that's within our MilCruit network and say, hey, look, I need this. And every single person will have the capacity to go on our page, to go on our community page and find someone that they can directly link them up with.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Love it. This was a great time. A lot of information. Thanks for coming on. I think we definitely once you guys go live, maybe let's schedule with us and get you back on.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you could have all 3 of us on, me, Carl, and Monty. That would be great.
It'd definitely be great to have you guys back on in a few months just to see where you're at. And
that would be awesome.
It makes so much sense. And it's like we've talked about on the show before. It's just people putting the skin in the game and just volunteering their time. You don't have to do a lot. You just have to do something.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Even if it's easy as getting a bunch of recruiters together.
Yep.
How does that even work? Are you honest with each other? Because you're not honest when you're recruiters in the building.
We're not going to get.
Are you guys just lie to each other?
Well, honestly, no cap.
All lowercase.
All caps lock.
Yeah.
So the beauty of this is it's not. I can't speak for what recruiters do, within their own realms, but this is
all the time.
No, I did not.
This is a give, because if someone were to reach out to me and say, Dara, I have someone interested in this specific function that needs to be in Georgia. Like, if I can help that's a win-win. I help this veteran and I'm making mission, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like, but that's not the focus. Like we want to make, that's why initially rolling out, there's not going to be a job board. We're not going to have all these things because it's not about what we need. It's going to be about what the candidate needs. Over time as things grow, yes, absolutely. We see it being, a very, very robust job board with recruiters that are actually recruiting. Not, I used to be a recruiter, so maybe I can help you. No, legit recruiting. Our goal is just that when someone comes to us, that they end with us, because we all know how many times we were passed off, or how many calls we had to make, how many emails we had to send, and like we want to reduce that by just making them contact with one person, and it's a done deal.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for everything.
I appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah, for everybody who tuned in late.
I have one more question.
You have one more question?
One more question.
You keep asking the questions.
It was just one more. It's the last
It's gonna be
one.
a good question. I feel like this is gonna be it, buddy. This is gonna be it. Great.
What are your thoughts on taking a job by force, though? Like if you just go in to the office dressed for success and you just sit out at the desk.
Just find a desk.
Yeah, the boss comes in and he's like, "Why are you in my desk?" Like, this is my desk.
I'm gonna be here until you pay me.
Get out of my office.
I don't feel like that has it doesn't have a good track record.
I feel like it could work.
I feel like you should try it.
You'll wear like Walmart.
I feel like that could work though. No, I'm not wearing Walmart. I'm talking about
no, this guy at Walmart does it. He wears like a Walmart outfit and he goes in there and starts like advising customers, and a manager will come out and be like, "Who are you?"
Oh my God, is this real?
I'm not going to take a Walmart job by force. I'm trying
of course it's on TikTok.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to take the CEO of Walmart's job.
Oh yeah. Just
show up.
Yeah.
Be like, "Hey Martha, how's it going?" Walk in, and she's like, "First of all, my name's not Martha."
Yeah.
Secondly,
it is today.
Who are you? And I just sit down, and she comes down. Like, "Get out of my office! What are you doing?" I need a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
A little bit of cream. So what are my calls today?
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't even know who you are."
I mean, just go all out and go to like SpaceX or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have very low, you're thinking like Walmart level. Go hard.
Yeah. Go
walk up into Wells Fargo or something and just go behind the counter.
Yeah. Just start working. I just work.
Yeah.
You know what? You work for free for long enough, they'll pay you. Just depends on how well the job goes.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, ignore what Buddy is saying and follow MilCruit.
Yes. What's that?
I said for everyone listening, please ignore what Buddy is saying and follow MilCruit if you actually want to be employed.
I'm just saying this may not work, but you could add it to your.
Yeah. But if MilCruit doesn't work, definitely hit Buddy up. He's got some great career advice.
Yeah. Just take it by force, guys.
Yeah, take it by force.
Hey.
Yeah, you won't get arrested. It'll be fine.
It's like Green Beret.
I will work here.
And if someone tries to arrest you, just be like, "I'm a disabled veteran." Like, back up.
Worst case, then you pull out your TikTok and you're like, "Look at these people.
I'm filming it.
This is my job. Oh, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
You're screwed now. I'm taking you to court.
Yep.
I work here. Yeah.
Look, Buddy didn't want TikTok a few minutes ago. Now he's using it to regulate on his stolen job.
I will tell you that
this is how the Chinese are winning right here.
If you do that, the only other thing I'll say, if you're going to take a job by force, take a clipboard with you, because nobody asks any questions if you have a clipboard.
Yeah.
That's true, though.
It's look important. Yeah.
If you're walking around with paper, looking like you're doing something.
Yeah. Oh, people leave.
Matter of fact, clean the restroom in Target one time. They'll hire your ass. They'll be like, "Look, he cleaned the bathroom, so someone's out. Someone's out."
He's like you're on the phone every time somebody's like trying to tell you, like, "Hold up, I want to call."
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's my coffee with cream?
Or bring a walkie-talkie in.
Who are you?
Just keep saying Elon, like you're talking to like Elon Musk. Like, "Elon, wait a second. There's a person here. Do you have my coffee yet?" Just keep it moving from there. They will
show up in a suit.
It's somebody that showed up with a clipboard and an earpiece, and now we're trading on the open market. I don't get it. Yeah. Our shares are up 5%.
Yep.
And it's just because the guy with a clipboard showed up.
That's good.
I feel like it could work.
Who still says he's gonna try it?
To take it by force, awesome.
Yeah.
And I just like everyone to know, this is why we have MilCruit. Because Buddy could be the guy you reach out to for help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember, he is why we have MilCruit.
I'll tell you that this call is going to go a lot like, "Who is this?" Run, dude. Run. Like, what did you? I was joking. That's not a good idea.
Anyway.
All right.
Any more questions, buddy?
No.
You're good.
That's the last one. That was just.
Hey, to all our viewers, thanks again for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
So, Rob, thanks for the stars. You guys rock. If you just tuned in and you want to rewatch this, go to YouTube later. Go to veterantrashtalk.com. That's our website. Has all the links to Spotify. I think we're on Apple Music as well, Apple iTunes or some shit like that. I don't know. Yes, God spoke. That's Chris. You guys can't hear Chris, but we hear him. So go check that out. Go to gruntworksclothing.com or go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com. Check out our awesome merch. All right. We got a bunch of tees on there. Yeah, the MilCruit. Yes. And hope you guys have a great Saturday. We're going to get pretty wrecked tonight. We got a big party tonight.
I'm not gonna
I'll celebrate for Nick too. Tell him I said happy birthday.
So for those of you that follow Faceman on Facebook, there's probably going to be a lot of videos on there and pictures of the craziness tonight. So we'll be out in Phoenix partying it up. Thanks again, everybody. We'll catch you guys next
Thank you.
week. Deuces.
Thanks for being on.